One thing you said, Andy, that I think is really interesting, we don't hear as much is this the credit analyst, or I think what I've heard as credit analyst training programs, the commercial banking path. Say more about that. Would you recommend that to students today, maybe as an alternative or a backup plan to the typical investment banking path? What are your thoughts?
I think absolutely. I think a lot of the students who work with Adventis, which is a great training ground, and I want to talk about that later because we make sure that any new hires complete the Adventis program, so the basic modeling skills. But my suggestion would be for your first job out of college, it doesn't mean it's going to be your career. You're not going to be locked into it forever. But if you have the opportunity to join a training program where the company is going to pay, they see something in you and they want to teach you and train you to be part of their business. Commercial banks used to have, most commercial banks used to do that regularly. I think they've cut back on that and there's been consolidation, so it's not as prevalent as it was. Investment banking obviously is where a lot of your students target. Great experience. The first couple of years, they're hiring entry level students, but also accounting or Procter and Gamble or GE or a lot of uh, multinational companies have these training programs that I think, as I thought about it, I was getting paid to learn, and then I think you can use that foundation even if it's not what you want to do long term. And as you're going through the training program, maybe you figure out that this isn't for me, but then you've learned. I mean, it's not a huge success for you, but at least you've learned what you don't want to do. And I think that's as important as learning what you want to do once you get out of college.
Absolutely. There's definitely a lot to be said by getting in there, trying it, working hard, and then figuring out how that changes your trajectory and what you can learn from that to figure out what you do want to do.